everybody.
Top of the morning to ya.
It's Dank. Dank is here.
All right. We can always
Love your
depend
face,
on Dank.
Wicked.
So how's it going?
I'm tired this morning. I've been up for a long time though.
But you've been drinking your tea, so.
I'm all jacked up on tea.
What kind of tea you got? Earl Grey? Green tea?
I don't even know. It's like some kind
Put
of
you on the spot.
therapeutic BS. It's caffeine free, which you would think that I would. I don't know why I'm all jittery, but
it's like it's just all in your head.
It is.
Just like the vaccines.
The vaccines are in my head. No.
No, it's all in people's heads that they're working. Which at the concert last night, I saw a bunch of people wearing masks, and I was like, "Come on."
No
intro. It was ironic. No intro today.
There was definitely an intro, like a whole minute long intro.
I heard it.
Yeah, we watched it. We watched it together. It was a bonding situation.
Well,
we'll get it. I'm sorry. What you were talking about the concert last night?
No, the concert last night. There were some people wearing masks, and I was like, it's an open air venue for one. Number two, they were like, so Breaking Benjamin was like up on the stage, and they had people off to the side, and it was kind of weird. There was only maybe 5 or 10 people on each side of the stage they must have paid like extra to get these seats, but these people were wearing masks on the stage with only like 3 other people around them. And it was funny because like Breaking Benjamin was singing their song like "I will not bend, I will not break," and they're like jamming out to it with their masks on. I was like, "You've already broken."
Like at the Rage concert, you gotta have your vaccine, but F you, I won't do what you tell me.
Yeah. Oh, another
like
booster?
I can't even listen to Rage anymore. I'm done with you guys.
Like y'all
ruined it.
Yeah, you aren't as bad as you used to be. But
it was so cool to be a rebel back in the day. It's not cool anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got to see Rage. Did I ever tell you I got to see Rage?
No.
So it was funny. My brother had a baby. He was living in Minneapolis. And he had his first child. And then 3 days after his wife gave birth, Rage Against the Machine was in Minneapolis they were there basically against the Republican National Convention. We're like, we got to go. But like Minneapolis is such, like the people there are all like very tame, mellow type people. So like they had all the riot police out and stuff like that. And some people were trying to stage like, as we were going into the concert, people were trying to stage like police brutality. And like the cops were literally just standing there looking at them. And they were like flopping around on the ground like, look at him. Like, he's not even touching you, man. But even Rage, like back then, this was 2008, I think. Even Rage back then, like Zach De La Rocha was like, all right, people, you can protest, but, do it peacefully. Like he was already at that stage in his life where he's like, I'm tired of going to jail. Y'all don't act any fools because
like it's been real and it's been fun, but I'm kind of over this now.
Yeah.
Can we do something else? Well, I just remember in middle school and high school, like Rage was like the shit, man. You just loved Rage because they didn't take no shit from nobody. And now it's just like, we'll take all the shit from everybody. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they broke up and then they came back together and like they've all done their own kind of little side projects. Yeah, they broke up for a while. In fact, whenever I saw them back in 2008, that was like them coming back together after at least a few years off. But yeah, it was a good show.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah. But I don't know, if you get the chance, just look up. It's called like Sunflower, and then like fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. And it's like It like opens with some sunflowers facing away from the sun, and it's like sunflowers will face away from the sun, and then it shows this other sunflower like in a storm, and it's like facing directly into the storm, and it's like, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me.
Shut up.
With a little face on it. It's so stupid, but
it sounds stupid enough to want to watch.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Good morning, Grambo. I didn't want to interrupt. I saw Grambo come in, but I didn't want to interrupt what you were saying. So what should we talk about this credit card thing?
Yeah, let's talk about the credit cards and gun purchases and what credit cards are going to start doing whenever you buy guns or anything from a gun store, for that matter.
So how long have you known about this?
I just learned about it probably a week ago.
That's crazy. And like, how long have they been doing this?
I think they've had it in the works. I don't think they've actually started doing it, but I think it's either in the works or it's going to start soon. But basically, like Visa, MasterCard, Amex, if you use a debit card, credit card to make a purchase at a gun store, they're going to flag. And when I say flag, it's actually a code that they put in. So like if you, on certain purchases, it makes a certain code to tell you where the purchase was made, basically, like grocery stores, gas, things like that. And before, it was basically like I think it was like general goods or something like that was the code that it got put on at gun stores. But now it's going to specifically flag it to say, hey, this was purchased from a gun store. And look, it was over $5,000. So, this could be suspicious.
So could it be that it's coded depending on what you're purchasing from those stores, or it's just if it's that store? Do we know that?
I'm pretty sure it's just if it's that store. Like, it doesn't matter if you bought a backpack or a hat from a gun store that said like Sig Sauer or whatever, a gun manufacturer. It doesn't matter. It'll still say that code. Now, of course, if you buy a backpack or a hat, that's going to be relatively low. It's going to be less than $100 probably. So they're not going to flag it. But I don't know I'm not sure what that, limit is where they're going to say it's suspicious.
Good morning, Kat. But okay, so I could go to Academy and I could buy a $300 12-person tent to take my family camping. Mm-hmm. Are they going to flag my purchase because of that?
That's a good question, because I don't know if they... Yeah, you raise a very good question with that one. I'll have to look into that, because technically Academy would fall under an arms dealer, right?
I mean, I would think so. If they sell guns, they would have to in some form or fashion.
Yeah, you stumped me. I'll have to look into that, because, yeah, I mean, that's all your sporting goods stores pretty much.
Because, I mean, with the oldest, when she was playing softball, there's a good chance that I could run into Academy and drop $600 in a weekend. Easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going to get flagged for that softball bat that I bought?
Yeah. So, I mean, like, the reason why this started was Pulse nightclub. I think it was the Pulse nightclub shooter. He went into a store and bought $28,000 worth of goods. And at the time, this wasn't in place. So, of course, lawmakers are trying to say, we could have prevented this shooting if we'd have known, if we'd have been alerted.
I don't necessarily think that's the case. Because, I don't think so. A shooter could also own a gun for several years and decide they want to go kill a bunch of people.
Yeah, I was about to say, just because you flag a $28,000 purchase doesn't mean there's not already somebody out there that has been, collecting guns before. But I mean, this just opens up the door for banks to. We said it in our first podcast. If you get chips put in your wrist to pay for purchases and they don't like the purchase, then you can get denied that purchase. So even if, like there's certain loaners that if you get a line of credit on certain credit cards, I think if you go in, they may even have something in the fine print that says you can't use this line of credit to go to a gun store or something like that, and they'll deny you the line of credit for it.
Yeah. I mean, they could seriously start. I mean, they have the means to control whatever they want. So they can start controlling purchases like that.
Oh, yeah. So,
for sure.
I mean, the moral of this story is now you're going to have to go pull out a bunch of cash and go to the gun store, or otherwise.
Well, okay. So then what's the next step?
Yeah.
So now they're going to flag every time you pull out a bunch of cash.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is anytime a Democrat makes a law, most Republicans go, and then what? But Democrats are just like, yeah, this is great. This is great for democracy. And like,
yeah, we'll think about what happens.
This is
next
horrible.
later.
Yeah, this is horrible for democracy, actually. But yeah,
it's every step is a step closer to more control.
Yeah.
I won't say it. We don't have our banner going.
I mean, I can get it going if you want. But yeah, Grimbo's question.
The Pulse nightclub shooting was in 2016.
Yeah.
Why are we just now putting stuff like this? Like, I mean, it's a dumb excuse. First of all, it's just stupid in my opinion. But why are we just now putting stuff in to the works from that shooting? What was that? Like six years? God, my mouth is bad. 7 years ago? 6 years ago.
Yeah, it'd be 6 or 7 years, going on 7 years, I guess now. But yeah, I mean, you know how Congress moves at the rate of a snail. So of course, I'm sure somebody probably introduced the bill a long time ago, and maybe it's getting a little bit more momentum with all the recent shootings and ridiculousness that's going on now. But the thing is like a lot of these shootings are the result of other failed Democrat policies.
They're also, well, do you want to go down that rabbit hole right now?
Well, should I load it up?
I mean, I'm just saying that they're also responsible for most of the shootings. I mean, that's my personal opinion based on the research that I've found. But like they're literally the cop. They pay people to do this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that people aren't dying. I'm not saying that people aren't getting injured and people aren't losing loved ones. I'm not saying that it's not serious in that sense. I'm saying that they're the ones doing it.
Yeah. And that's not even like, if you want to go down the conspiracy rabbit hole, like that's a whole other thing. But even just the politics of the latest shooters, if people actually start looking into it, they're very more left leaning than they are right leaning. Like the only right leaning one that I'm aware of that was involved in a shooting, it wasn't really necessarily like he went out trying to kill people, was the Rittenhouse, and that was proven self-defense. But the other ones that went out trying to kill people have all had like manifestos that were like very far left, like I want, and don't quote me on all these, but it was like communist, fascist type manifestos that, it's funny we get labeled the fascist, but the fascist movement is actually a far left one.
Exactly.
So
I just don't. None of this makes sense. And if they're really like pushing to track purchases like this, it's only going to get worse from here. What else are they going to track?
Yeah, well, I mean, that goes. They're all trying to push the Green New Deal. So if you start, they're going to put a limit on how much gas you can purchase, probably. I think I saw an article from Sweden that their government is, don't catch me lying, but I think they said they may start like penalizing people for running their heat.
I hope
Like,
you're lying. I
I'm
hope you're lying on that one.
I forget what the penalties were, but I know for sure they were doing something for running their heat too much
Can
in
we
Sweden.
just let that sink in just a little bit?
Yeah, so people are going to die because if it gets to be cold, Sweden's up there. It
Yeah.
gets cold in
Yeah.
Sweden.
Well, even I mean, like that is a very sad fact of that. But like a little bit deeper, like you purchase this house, you own it, you pay them taxes every year on it, even though you don't owe them shit.
Yeah.
Like, and then they're gonna tell you that you can't run your heat or air conditioning. No telling where this ends. Your gas, your water, how long they're gonna. You own the property. I mean, in my opinion, like that. Once that water has gone through my house, once it's in my house, I own it. Like it's mine. I'll do it with whatever I want. It's my
Yeah.
heat. It's my gas.
Yeah, and every state is kind of different about that. I think even if I went into my backyard right now and started digging like a bunker, or like if I found oil or something in my backyard because I started digging down, I'm pretty sure like the town of Flower Mound or wherever would be like, nope, that's ours.
That sucks. Should be
Like,
yours. I mean, you're paying for it. You're talking about turning off people's heat. They pay for it.
yeah,
I mean, I don't know what the laws are over there, but like here in the United States, most of us have to pay for heating and air conditioning. And then you're
yeah,
going to tell me when I can and can't use it?
that's where it's headed. I mean, as Cotton was saying in the comments, like California is already right on the verge of that. Like even controlling thermostats, saying, set your thermostat to 78, or we'll set it for you, pretty much.
Are they doing that in California right now?
I think so. Yeah, along with the blackouts, they're like, so you got your blackouts, you've got setting your thermostat to 78 or higher, and you've got don't charge your car during these times because that's peak hours.
Like, I'm getting super excited about this upcoming trip. The more we talk about this.
Yeah, just avoid actual LA altogether because
I won't. I will not be going to LA.
yeah, stay out of that area as much as you can.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
That's insane. Like I didn't even realize California control. I knew they were passing some crazy stuff, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's less about an actual climate crisis, and I think it's more about like they know, because there are limited resources, right?
right.
And if life is getting better for the common man, you and me, or woman, we'll keep this equal opportunity here. If life is getting better, yeah, if life is getting better for us, if we're having the opportunities to, have nice things, TVs, nice houses, cars, even a flight here and there, that means that there's less resources for them at the top. They're like, we're the anointed ones. We're supposed to have the nice stuff. Y'all can't have the nice stuff. So y'all need to conserve all these resources so that we can go fly around the world in our private jets and tell you about how you need to live better lives. And don't pay attention if I stop in Greece on my private jet on my way to the summit in, I don't know.
And just know all you bitches are paying for this.
Yeah, y'all pay for it too. We need more taxes.
That's how it is with royalty, as I investigated royalty.
Yeah. Yeah, the Cottons.
They don't pay for anything.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to switch it. But...
Yeah, I mean, we may as well. I was just going to comment on Cotton's thing about Northern California and Central being more conservative. Like, it's definitely a different world in that part of the state. Plus, it's just nicer. Southern California is I don't know. People say it's pretty, and I'm like, I don't know what y'all are looking at.
I mean, Huntington Beach isn't bad if you go in the right time. But I'd take Northern California any day over Southern California for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I went to, which basically my only experience with Northern California is Mountain Warfare at Bridgeport, which is like 9,000 feet elevation. So it was kind of breathtaking, literally. But anyway, should we segue?
I feel like I already segued. Where have you been, Kevin?
I'm catching up.
We're talking about okay, so should we start with where it even begins? Like, how do you become royalty?
Yeah, I mean I don't understand how people some long time ago were like, we got to have a leader, guys. Like, I want to hand over all my freedom to this one person. Or there was one person who was like, we need a leader and I'm the one to do it. And all y'all people need to listen to me because I know what's best. Or, God talks to me, or,
it wasn't
whatever.
even that though. I mean, I'm sure some monarchies started that way, right? But you're talking about people that owned land. If you owned the most land, you were like a part of the royal families. And then from there, they decided who was going to be king and run everything. And then that's just how it was. And then they started their own kingdoms from that. So like, it could have been the dumbest person on land, like on earth, and owned land.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, you can run everything now.
Yeah. And I mean, that gets into a whole other thing. Like, almost every royal family in history, doesn't matter which nation, has had like incest within it. And like, we know that incest further down the line causes problems, like mentally, physically. Like, they used to think that King Tut was run over by a chariot, and then they started studying his DNA and realized that he was just messed up because there was so much incest that, like, he probably had like cleft lip and club foot, and
wow,
was suffering from like mental stuff from the incest. But yeah, I mean, like I was telling you, the definition of royalty, if you look it up, it's just people of royal blood or status. So they're trying to keep like it within the family. Like, that's why you had during World War I, the Tsar of Russia, the German Kaiser, and the English king were all cousins.
Well, it's why a lot of, or most of the time when you hear about royalty, it's marriages within like royalty.
Yeah.
At some point you're going to run into bloodline.
Yeah, like okay, my brother is the Duke of whatever, and to make our bond stronger with Germany, they got some royal blood, so I'm going to have my brother marry their princess, and even though they're like second cousins removed or something, whatever.
But then we, line up for funerals and weddings, and
yeah,
yay. I've never understood that. I really don't. There's been a lot of talk about that on the old Tiki-Taki lately, about why people are so obsessed with the royal family.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my beef with it is, and this goes for not even just royalty, but just politicians in general, like even having a president. Like, I think it should be less about one person and more about like, what does this council say? Like, I don't know how many people would sit on that council. I mean, we're already kind of set up to with the Senate and the House and everything else, we already got something like that go in the works. But my thing is, if once you put somebody on a pedestal, you make that person think they have to be perfect, right? And so they'll do everything in their power to make sure that they stay perfect. And if that's covering their tracks one way or another, they'll abuse their power to cover the tracks. And then once you start telling a few lies, you keep telling more lies and more lies to cover everything that you did in the past. And it's like, in this day and age, that doesn't work because we've got the footage. It may have worked back in, the 1400s up until maybe even like 1900s. You could say whatever you wanted to whoever.
Right.
And be like, oh, no, I didn't say that. I said God told me that we should go fight France.
Right. Well, technology killed that for...
Yeah. So now, but it's funny, though, because the White House is still trying to cover all their tracks, lying daily to the people. And we're like, well, let me just go back to 2020 whenever you said that the vaccines were horrible.
Right. As long as we own the media, we can control what's being said. So
yeah,
we'll always have something to cover our butts. That's the whole purpose in owning the media, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's a propaganda wing of the Democrat Party for sure. But even like the Royals, there's not a bad piece of press that can come out on the Royals without it getting covered, like Prince Andrew.
Exactly.
Like that should have been way bigger.
Well, and that's the problem, is they have the power to control how big it gets. Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying is like, that's why I go back and I'm like, I can't believe like people just handed over the power. And then it just, from there, it just got bigger and bigger. And when nobody ever thought to stop and say, why did we elect this guy? Or why did we put this guy in the castle?
Right.
And then like even the people who were, supposed to be defending the king, like the army or whatever, none of them stopped and thought, maybe the peasants out there, maybe they shouldn't have to live like that. Why am I guarding this king? This doesn't make any sense. Why do we go out and collect taxes from these people so that this guy can sit in his castle and
because they would kill.
Yeah,
they value their lives. That's why.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is like it got to that point where there was like no turning back. Nobody in history was like, hold up. Except until the American Revolution, pretty much. Like that's, whenever everything turned and we got away from a monarchy.
I just, like, to me, it's crazy how that, it's crazy to me how it even starts. Like, who makes the decision? And then it's got to be a ton of fighting in wars, because there's just people trying to take over other people that are also powerful, so that they don't, so that they still have all the power. Can't have opposition. You're not as powerful if you have opposition.
Yeah, so, I mean, even just the history of England, they were basically a bunch of tribes prior to the Romans invading. And then the Romans came in, and the Romans pretty much had conquered everything except for the northern part of the island. And they built Hadrian's Wall to keep out the real wild people, which this is what Game of Thrones is based off of, by the way.
I've never watched it.
Yeah. So they built Hadrian's Wall, which was in the north part, and that kind of kept like the real crazy people that the Romans couldn't conquer from coming down into the southern part. But then it got to a point where the Roman Empire abandoned England, and then England basically broke up back into kingdoms where each one was kind of trying to replicate what the Romans had done in a way. But then you had like Mercia and the Saxons and all these different little kings. There was like technically like 5 kings in England at the time. And then finally one kind of united them all under one English rule. But, you know, that's what I'm saying is like, how did they mess that up? Because the Romans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Romans had like the idea of a republic, and then, you know, Caesar came in and messed that up. But
there's always someone.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy to think, though, that well, not we, because we don't live under a monarch, but the people of England are literally paying these people to live lavishly, like ridiculously so. I can't even remember how much it was like yearly that they receive, but it's ridiculous amounts.
Yeah, I looked it up, and so the people of England pay taxes to the British government, and the cost of keeping the royal family, and this is like everything from travel to the palace upkeep to staff, you know, food, all these different things. The cost to the British people is like 102.4 million pounds a year, which is 118 million, which it's relatively small in terms of, you know, considering it could be even higher, billions, trillions. But at the same time, that's still $118 million that could go towards something else besides putting 8 people in a palace and letting them live this super lavish lifestyle for being royal blood.
Right. Which means absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things.
Because last I checked, there's only A positive, B positive, O negative. You know, there's only so many different types of blood. I didn't see anything about royal blood. Like, I could give my blood to the king, I'm pretty sure, and he could give his blood to me if we're the same blood type. There's nothing that says, oh, he's royal blood. You can't.
But then you have the Rh negative blood, and that's just apparently alien blood. I don't know. That's what I've heard.
Yeah. Well, that was last week's episode. I mean, we could get back into aliens again, maybe.
I mean, I think we have to at some point.
Yeah. I mean, the more we learn about aliens, we're going to get back into it.
We are talking about the royal family, so yeah. I'm just kidding. That's a whole deep dive right there.
They might be aliens.
We're not getting into that. That's no.
No, I mean, that's another interesting thing is like, because I always think about ancient times. Like, I wonder where we came from, why we're here, and why are we structured the way we're structured? Like, do we have little pieces of DNA that tell us this is how we're supposed to be? Like, we're supposed to give power over to somebody, and
I mean, we have something because we have intuition, but
yeah,
I don't know.
But yeah, the ancients. I wish I had a time machine to go back there and be like, what the hell, guys?
What is going on? Why did you do this to us?
Yeah. But then the problem is, like, I always think about this, like, if I were to go back to, say, like, the Civil War, like, and I think there's a movie that's kind of along these lines, but it's like a fighter jet that goes back to World War II. Like, it hits some time space warp, and it goes back to World War II, and it's like the only jet in World War II, and it's just like blasting, you know, Japanese planes. I think it's like a B- movie. It's, but I always put myself in a situation where, like, man, what if I was in a time warp? Like, let's say I was in doing some training with the Army or something, and I went back to like the Civil War with just my M16 and like 300 rounds. Like, I would just dominate that battlefield.
Yeah.
And people would be like, holy shit.
This is not our technology.
Yeah. And then he would be like, we got to make this guy a general.
Yeah. And then eventually you would be royalty and life would be different.
Yeah. I'd be like savior of the Civil War, you know, or Revolutionary War. Like,
you just show up to all of them.
Yeah. I just keep hitting that time space warp and No, but
like
I was,
over and over again.
but like you think about the technology, and even Joe Rogan kind of mentioned this whenever he was talking about aliens. He kind of has a neat take on it where he talks about if you think about even just today, if you wanted to go to England, that's a matter of getting online, booking a ticket, getting to the airport, hopping on a 8-10 hour flight, whatever it is, and you arrive in England later. If you took us and put us in with that kind of technology in like 1200 AD and we arrived in England, people would be like, "Holy shit, they're an alien." And that's kind of what he's saying. Like with that's
Is
kind
that
of
what
what
it
you
is?
compare.
Is that why we see aliens?
Maybe.
Because it's just the future us coming back to visit and being like, "What's up, bitches?" And
Yeah.
they do come in peace, and we try to kill them.
Well, that's something that was mentioned on his show the other day, and somehow we went right into aliens. But he was talking to Corbel. I don't know if you listened to that episode yet, but he was talking about one of the most common alien sightings that they see is like it's like a square cube with a sphere around it, and like there were mentions of this back in the 60s, and like so it's been consistent throughout like fighter pilots descriptions for the last 60 years that this cube with a sphere around it shows up.
That's weird.
Yeah.
It never ages. It's just always the same. It's got to be someone coming back from the future, right? It never changes.
I'm not going to say it's got to be, but you know,
Come on, come to the dark side. It's got to be.
I'll entertain the theory at least. I'm not ruling anything out. You know, you could.
It's not a bad theory.
Yeah. I mean, even ghosts, like you could say ghosts are from another dimension, or you could say they are haunted souls, supposedly, or you could say they're like traces of somebody's past life just showing up. I don't know. There's a lot of things you could.
There's a lot of theories there. I didn't realize we were going full ghost.
Full conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how we got from
We'll just
royalty
dive
to
into
here,
it.
but
I don't either. How did this happen? Should we go back to royalty? I just think it's crazy that we pay people to tell us what to do when they're just regular people. Just normal people.
yeah, there's really, and even the royal family today, I don't think they have anything to do with policy at all. They're just a figurehead. Like,
Yeah.
it's all, and like, look, I love tradition. Like, that's one of my favorite things is honoring traditions. But at the same time, I feel like this tradition, whenever it's at the cost of millions to taxpayers, I feel like that tradition, that it's not fair to anybody there.
There's a lot of people that are ready for the monarchy to be done over there.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say it's a good 50-50 right now from what I've seen. They're over it.
And I mean, that could even roll into so-called American royalty, like our Hollywood celebrities that picture themselves as they all think they're royalty and that they don't understand why we don't go see their movies if they suck.
Right. The prime minister runs the government. Like the royal family is really not doing anything. It's just there for looks. But yeah, I don't. Celebrities kill me. Do you think there's any good ones left? Or are they all
good celebrities?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple that I like. I think Chris Pratt. I think he's a pretty decent guy.
He seems like a decent dude. I still don't watch any of his movies.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I think I went to Batman. That was the last movie I went to. But besides that, it's been a long time.
I watched that on the plane. But You're right. Royalty does represent the church. which is
Clint
also kind of
Eastwood.
like, that's also kind of crazy. Like, not only are they governing. Oh, that we like Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood is a good dude.
We do like Clint.
I mean, he's got some amazingly good-looking sons.
Sure.
But no, I love Clint Eastwood movies. I don't know. I feel like there's no point in the royal family, and I feel like everybody puts. We were talking about pedestals earlier. Everybody puts people on these pedestals that don't necessarily deserve it or belong there, and I feel like celebrities are that. I have met plenty of people in real life, not that don't do the film industry, that can act like nobody's business. They deserve Academy Awards for that. Okay. It doesn't make them good human beings.
I know. Yeah.
It doesn't. Typically
there's a few celebrities that they've actually worked some real jobs before they, made their big break, I guess. And I think they're a little more grounded than the others, but there's a lot of them that they went straight into Hollywood and they're messed up for it.
If a man says she has an attractive daughters, okay, can we touch on this for just a second? That's kind of funny that this came up because this has been a hot topic lately.
I mean, Clint Eastwood's sons are also like
40.
40.
They're like my age. I wasn't talking about back in the 80s when we were both minors thinking that their sons were attracted by men now.
Thank you for your comment, but
yeah, it's an awesome comment. Moving on.
Wow. I think you may even be younger than his sons.
I have no idea. I just know that they're definitely of age. They have wives and kids of their own.
Because Clint is well into his 80s now, so
and like I'm not scoping out their kids. I just know. I mean, I've watched interviews, typically on Joe Rogan. Anyway, Anyway, let's get away from that.
Where were we?
Exactly. Today's not the day. Heather woke up a little spicy today.
Yeah.
Drink my tea and shut up.
Oh man. Damn it. No. I'm off now.
Well, let's go back to celebrities and putting people on pedestals because that's huge. That's huge for me because I remember being young and like, oh my gosh, Hollywood and to be an actor and I want to do that and I want to exactly cut. I love your face. You put these people on pedestals and then they're just normal people and half of them aren't even good human beings. Why even people on social media these days, why are you getting on there and putting these people on pedestals? You don't know them.
Yeah.
They could be selling crack to kids on the streets in their spare time. You have no idea, but you love them.
Yeah.
They can do no wrong.
And that goes like, I don't know what's even worse is with American celebrities who we've pretty much dubbed royalty, they have no real power except for using their position as a celebrity to influence other people. And like they've all got this notion that because I'm in Hollywood, I must subscribe to this liberal point of view that guns are bad, even though I have a gated community around me with probably an armed guard sitting there to make sure all y'all ugly stay out. And we get to promote policies that we think are good while enjoying all the benefits that neglect those policies while y'all have to stay in your own little communities and have people, you only have the police that they can't respond to everything. I'm trying to think which city it was, but there was a city. Oh, it was New Orleans. New Orleans has a response time from their police right now that's 2 hours.
Wow.
It'll take the police 2 hours. So if you have somebody in your house and you call the police, you're on your own.
I mean, it might as well be Chicago. There's a lot you can get away with in 2 hours.
And by the way, I have no problem with people admiring celebrities, but I have a problem with celebrities thinking that they're better than us.
Yeah.
That
well, in my opinion, that's on you. If you want to put anybody on a pedestal, go for it. It doesn't bother me one bit. I don't understand it. That's all I'm saying. I would like to understand why anyone thinks anyone is better than them in any form or fashion. We all breathe the same air. We all have the same blood, other than different varieties of it. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. I've gotten away from that. I used to put people on pedestals. I don't anymore until I know you, because a lot of people let you down.
Yeah, I mean, I was at that concert last night and just seeing like some of the celebrities there. Like, I had no desire to go up and talk to them. Like, the music was good, but at the same time, I was like, I don't want to go up there and like ruin my perception of you, because I know you're gonna say some shit that I'm like, yeah, that's dumb. You obviously have been in this business for too long, and you've never worked you make great music, but you've never shoveled a ditch or anything like that,
That is all perception, my friend. Like, that is from your perspective that anyone is any better than anybody else. We're not. We're not. Doesn't matter how much money or influence or anything else you have.
Are you a celebrity? Are you a celebrity? 100% true. Are we talking to a celebrity right now? Are you in your gated community?
Why are you offended that we don't put celebrities on pedestals here? I would like to know that. But anyway.
Riddle me this.
Yeah.
Good question, Cotton. Can you change a tire? Probably not.
I can change a tire. My friends used to call me and have me come change their tires. And I had to learn it on my own.
You should have opened up a tire service then.
I should have. I was also MapQuest.
Could have had Heather's roadside assistance.
And why would I not do that? It sounds like such an awesome plan to just be at everyone's beck and call and do the manual labor for them. It sounds like something I would do.
I mean, I think that's a winning business model right there.
No. Could you even picture that? I could not picture me changing people's tires. No, thank you.
Not in this heat.
I'm sure that's a great job for somebody that enjoys that. That's not something I enjoy.
Yeah, it's too hot out there.
Yeah, especially not in Texas. I'm good.
No. Cotton said that doesn't sound right.
What doesn't sound right?
Heather's roadside assistance.
Oh, are we going to take it there? Oh. If they died today, only your family and a few people would know who you care or would care. But Queen Elizabeth recently died. What happened?
I don't care if my family cares. I don't care.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is I don't need celebrity status to feel validated.
Yeah. And once I'm gone, I will be gone celebrating somewhere better than here. I'm not worried about who's worried about whether I'm gone or not.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Like, my circle is more important to me than beyond my circle and what they think. So, sorry, 100% true.
Yeah.
You're not going to change my mind.
Nope. You're doing a good job trying, but it's not working for me. Roadside assistance. You guys are cracking me up with this roadside assistance thing. Why does it always lead back to this? I am not that type of person, you guys.
Celebrities don't matter, man. Celebrities, what? I'll give you this. They've made some make some important films. less so these days.
Mm-hmm.
Like the films they're making these days are garbage.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
And
Most of them are just sequels or redo. Like,
yeah,
did we forget how to be like entertaining and different and creative? We just don't do that anymore.
yeah.
Let's just we'll make a remake of all the cartoons. It'll be fun.
Well, I mean, even you look at like the evolution of acting. Acting back in the day was not good. like
No.
like they all, and it was funny because they all kind of had to. It was like a segue from like silent films where they had to express everything with their like facial expressions, and then like it would pop up on the screen what they were saying, and that kind of moved into uh, whenever they finally got audio put in, they all thought this is how this would sound, and so they all had like the same kind of voice. So like acting has gotten better as far as that goes, but at the same time they were all just a pretty face that somebody said, all right, this fits the role that I want for this person. And then that
Right.
person got the role. They made a couple hit films, and then there used to never really be, nobody interviewed celebrities back in the early days of celebrities. They didn't interview and go, what do you think about this policy? Because
Yeah.
they knew they had nothing to contribute to it. We left politics to politics. We left energy production to energy producers, and we left Hollywood to Hollywood.
And
Like I
now
don't.
everyone's trying to merge all of that. We don't need it merged. We're good. Just leave it as it was. Stop. Like, mind your business. Do your talent that you wanted to give to the world, that you get paid to give. Do that. Let us appreciate it for what it is, and let's move on. I don't need any of that.
What have you created recently?
I mean,
What
I
have
created
you
my
created
kids. I take
recently?
way more pride in that than I do any movie that they spent a bunch of money on to trick your brain. Like, I'm good. Appreciate what's real in life, not what other people are doing. You should be appreciating and knowing your worth and knowing what you contribute and being focused on what you contribute for yourself. Then you should be worried about what others contribute to the world. That doesn't make any sense to me. You're not even speaking in a language that I can understand right now. It's what other people are doing is not important. It should not affect your life at all. You should be focused on you.
Yeah, I agree with that. Stay true to yourself.
That's right. Gosh.
Yeah.
That's my biggest thing. If people would just mind their own business, like, just worry about yourself, man.
Mm-hmm.
Don't, like, you don't have to. It's another part of putting people on pedestals. You put this person on a pedestal, you act like you know them. You act like you know their thought processes and what they do when they're not on TV or when they're not on social media. You don't. You have no idea what these people are doing. So stop acting like everyone's just perfect. If you focus on you, you don't have to worry about if they're perfect.
Yeah.
You just try to be the best you that you can be, and everything else will fall in line. It doesn't matter what anybody else is doing.
So this is kind of interesting. I'll bring up Kim Kardashian.
Okay.
I heard this the other day, and some people probably already know this, but like Kim Kardashian actually had her mom, like for a PR stunt, her sex tapes that she put out.
Mm-hmm.
Her mom was actually on the side watching her have sex with the dude, whatever his name was, and he actually like admitted this in an interview or something the other day, that she was on the side and she was like, okay, yeah, you look best in this one. Let's put this sex tape out so that we can
They
get you more fame. Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Celebrities put garbage out so that they can get more followers on Instagram and more followers on.
Like, the bottom line is Kim Kardashian was not getting enough attention from being Paris Hilton's assistant. So she made her sex film, and guess what? Ever since then, business has been booming for the Kardashians.
Yeah, way to go.
If you think that wasn't on purpose,
so
I don't know what to tell you.
So if you think that's contributing to society, I would have a very big argument with you.
God, you said like their Dash stores? What? That's amazing. It's amazing. Okay, so the bottom line is you just stop focusing on what everybody else is doing. Royalty doesn't matter. It doesn't matter your stature. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how much power you have. You're no better than anybody else. We're all here together. We might as well make the best of it.
Yeah, I mean, you said it the other day. You stay within what you can control yourself. You don't focus on what you can't. And what the problem is, a lot of these politicians want to insert themselves into your life so that they can be important.
Yeah. And it's not. What's important is that we can all live freely and be happy and feel like we're in a safe space where we're able to do that without people tracking credit cards or telling us what we can and cannot do in our own houses. Like, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunately the world we live in right now.
It is definitely the world we live in right now. Everybody, and it's only getting worse with, the technology. They want, like we said, the credit card purchases, like the cameras you got in your house, the Alexa stuff you got in your house, like everything is pointing towards, 24/7 surveillance that can, like, even having this Gadsden flag behind me right now, that'll probably get me flagged.
Yeah, we're probably going to get removed from TikTok. I mean, from YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, because apparently that's having a Gadsden flag is like white supremacy thing. Oh, that's the other thing. Maybe we can talk about that next week. So the FBI has quotas for white supremacy now.
What?
They have to, like, basically like your traffic cops have quotas for the month.
Yeah.
The FBI agents have quotas for tracking down white supremacy.
Like, are they just all standing around like high-fiving? Like they're in a room of computers and they're just like, oh, I think I found one. High five, guys.
Well, that's the thing is whenever you force somebody to look for something, they're going to find something, right? One way or another, so that they don't get, punished or, whatever the case may be. It's like, if you put a cop in a town and say you have to pull over 10 cars this week for speeding, everybody may be doing the speed limit, but the cop has a quota, so he's going to pull somebody over, even if they're doing one over for 3 seconds. He's like, all right, you're 1 out of 10. We got you.
I can't go a whole episode without saying population control once. So Boom. There you go.
I was about to say I didn't get to use my Benner yet, so.
So since we have 30 seconds left, there you go. You get your one from me. We're at 7. Wow, I dropped a few last episode, huh?
Yeah, you kept it pretty calm this episode, so.
I was trying to a little bit. I felt like 100% true might get their feelings hurt, so I had to calm it down a little bit. Well, you know how that truth just hurts everybody.
Yep. But thanks for playing 100% true.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah. It was fun.
Keep the questions coming. Come back next week.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
And of course, you too, Cotton. You're fun.
Yeah, yeah, Cotton. So I guess we'll have a couple more topics next week. Are we good for next week?
Yeah, I think I should be good. Maybe. I'll let you know.
Okay.
I think I may be going somewhere next week on the weekend also, but.
Oh, I'm not going anywhere next week.
But maybe even if we are, maybe we can still set up something from where we're at.
Yeah. All right. Well, it was fun, guys. We'll see you later.
See y'all.